G'day guys, today we are talking about the lateral raise off the cable machine and we're going from behind the back with a slight lean to. Fantastic exercise to really recruit and isolate that shoulder head, and potentially if you're struggling to get above or break a plateau with your dumbbells, really good alternative just to dive individually into each shoulder joint and maybe pick up a potential deficiency, which you can go and work on and strengthen those shoulders up and progress and carry on and so forth. Okay, so with this exercise, with the slight lean, it's actually going to work in our favor because we need to be nice and rigid to hold our lean in, and we're going to use gravity. First point of call is that what we are looking for when doing this is obviously our grip's going to be a factor, so we want to be nice and comfortable when we are holding whatever it is that we're pulling from. Okay, I suggest, which is why I'm set up here, go for something that has a bit of a something to grab onto, or a bit of thickness, so a bit more of a square shape rather than maybe a round where you can't quite get your hand around it. But again, if what you've got is round, then that's where you got to go. All right. A few things to be aware of with this exercise. We still want to keep our stability and keep ourselves nice and rigid and strong, because obviously stability will generate more tension through the working muscle. More tension accumulated over a long period of time is going to give us a greater hypertrophy effect. So again, we want to keep that stimulus on at all times and make sure that that if we can do that, obviously we're going to get the results that we're after. We also want to make sure that we are executing to perfection each and every rep, so obviously we're not losing out on gains accumulated. So as soon as we lose our shape and our form, lose that tension, then she's all over Red Rover, we may as well put the weight down. All right, so setting up. We're going to make sure that we're pulling our shoulder blades back and down, but first of all, we're going to lock our legs out, jam our feet in, and squeeze our hips on. We don't want our hips sagging down. Okay, we're going to keep ourselves nice and straight and rigid, as if I'm standing like this, but obviously coming out on a 45. Okay. From this position here, obviously our shoulder blades are going to go back and down, and our end point is going to be just by our side. From here, we're going to come up, squeeze hard, and just come all the way up as far as you can. Things to be aware of when we are doing this exercise is that when we start to fatigue, we can start to shift our weight and move our hips in order to throw them up. And as a result of that, we're going to lose that tension through that joint. What I need you to understand is that this muscle is not a big muscle. All we are trying to hit is the medial head of the deltoid, which is the middle. And we're looking to take that point there to the top there. That's all, okay? And think of it, and the muscle is probably no bigger than that sliver there. So it's quite a small muscle that's joined in with, with three others. So our rear delts, our anterior delt, and our medial head. Okay, and as a result of that, that's where we can move larger amounts of weights with presses. But for this particular exercise, we don't want to hit here and we don't want to hit there. We want that middle section. So we need to keep nice and tight and coming up and down like so. So large amounts of weight for this particular exercise isn't required. As soon as we start getting into large amounts of weight, that's when you see people do this type of thing, or in this particular case, they start to shift their weight and shove their hips and do all sorts of really cool dance moves, but not what we are after. Okay, so we're going to set this up, grab a hold. Now, another thing too is that you might want to drop your shoulder, okay? We want to make sure that we are nice and upright, nice and tall. From this position, all we're going to do is take it out nice and wide, hold, control down, pop it again, hold, control down, pop it again, all right? And this is all the movement that you want to do. You don't want to be shoving it back and down. You don't want to be swinging, don't do any of that. You just want to keep that nice, constant tension. Really good accessory. I wouldn't advise doing this at the start. If you were to do it at the start, then potentially use it as a way to fill your shoulders up, so get some blood through, some volume. Remember, with our minor muscles or the smaller muscles, they respond a little bit better to a little bit more volume at the start. Get that blood there, get that mind-muscle connection happening, or that tension and stimulus towards the muscle, and then start to put some load through. All right, team, that there is how you want to go about doing a behind the back cable lateral raise. Boom.